The Foster's World Cup Challenge, proudly brought to you by State Bank Victoria and Sportsco.
From Toronto, it's the grand final of the Foster's Cup. Collingwood won through after ousting Geelong last week in Miami, while Hawthorn qualified by beating Carlton in the wet at the Oval in London. Football's last hurrah for 88 hails from Canada. Can the Hawks do it again, or will it be the Magpies? We'll know 4 quarters from now. And on the Australian Television Network, a very good morning, Australia, and welcome to the grand final of the Foster's International Challenge for 1988. We're coming to you from the Varsity Stadium in Toronto, and the grand final, of course, is between Hawthorn and Collingwood. The two teams that won their matches last week in Miami and London over Carlton and Geelong, and they're clashing here on a beautiful Toronto day. It is absolutely magnificent, the weather, a forecast top temperature of 18 degrees after some very wintry conditions we had during the week. There's a light northeasterly breeze blowing, and that will be blowing to the end on the left of screen when the match actually gets underway. And at this stage, we say a very good morning to the next Geelong coach, Malcolm Blight. Good morning, welcome to the commentary.
Good morning, Peter, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm looking forward to the game. I guess, Malcolm, we'd have to say that Hawthorn would go into it as favourites. The two sides, let's check them first of all. The Collingwood team up now, they've made no change to the lineup that was victorious over Geelong last week in Miami, and I think Lee Matthews would be pretty pleased with their efforts, and once again he'll be looking for a very big performance from Brian Taylor, who really did get amongst the goals in Miami. Malcolm, you've been taking a look at the Hawthorn side.
Yes, obviously the two keys, Brereton and Dunstall up forward, their form's been terrific, and it was good again in England. So looking at their defence, I suppose Chris Mew not being here with the side, Michael Tuck not playing, but they still look a very, very good side.
Ground is very narrow. We'll be seeing corridor football at its very best, I presume.
Yes, I'd suggest most sides would have trained like this while they've been here, and they have been doing that. And a lot of sides throughout the year do that anyhow. So yeah, it's a very narrow ground, but should be a lot of goal scoring.
Yes, you expect a high-scoring game?
You'd think so, Peter. There is a bit of a breeze blowing, and it's certainly favouring the left of screen, as you've said. And I'd expect a pretty big score for the Canadians to really cheer home.
OK, well, some ideal conditions for football with a light northeasterly breeze. We'll take a break and we'll be back with the first quarter of the Foster's International Challenge between Collingwood and Hawthorn in just a moment. It's the final of the Foster's International Challenge from Varsity Stadium in Toronto. A crowd of around about 10,000 watching the action here this afternoon. Farrows, number 15 up high, acting captain for Hawthorn as Gary Ayres. It's knocked over the boundary line by Andrew Gowers. And great to see Andrew back in the side because he suffered a shoulder injury, and it almost certainly would have been in Hawthorn's grand final combination had he not dislocated that shoulder late in the season. Boundary throw it on centre wing. It's Deere with Farrows, and Farrows again knocks it down. Getting into the thick of the action. Tony Hall trying to handball. Not successful. And again we'll see a bounce just inside the centre square from umpire Peter Carey. Farrows again. So using his height to advantage, Dippy Domenico. Not having much luck, neither team. Good tackle applied by Platten, although the umpire says it was too high. And the first free kick of the game will go to Gavin Brown of Collingwood. Straight down the ground, which as you would expect is the way to play this ground. Buckenara. Dippy Domenico. Up towards centre wing, Jamie Turner stands his ground. Turner going crossfield to Mullane. Down to left half forward, and where's Farrows? Starting out really well, Malcolm Blight.
Yes, indeed, Peter. So big Wes Fellows now onto the left foot. Drives it deep into the goal square. Big pack of players. Oh, Starcevic almost sitting on top of the ball now and penalised for holding the ball. John Kennedy to take the free kick. The last line of defence for Hawthorn. Kennedy back. Legs to go almost straight down the ground. The ball actually holds up in the breeze there. There's a punch from behind from Starcevic over to Collins. Collins running through the centre. Has Buckenara free. Buckenara over to Brereton. Brereton out wide into the pocket. Abbott there first, taps it cleverly back to Dunstall. Dunstall again cleverly back to Hall. Hall sidesteps one, handballs over to Ayres. Ayres now on the left foot. The kick is grubbered. Mullane caught. Christian the handball out wide to Turner, and Turner onto the left foot with a very poor kick back in towards the centre. McGuan's almost put a saddle on from Collins and will take the free kick just on the point of the square, or some, 80 metres, I suppose, from the Collingwood goal.
Very poor tackle applied by Andy Collins. Dacos at midfield. Jamie Morrissey on the mark. To number 35. Dacos, predictably, with this northerly wind, down long. Mark taken by Cloak in front of Gowers. Gowers, one of the rookies in the Hawthorn side. I expect to be a player of the future. Cloak, a veteran, used his bulk to get front position. And David Cloak about 35 metres out, or if that. Usually a pretty good kick at goal. That looks okay. It's a goal. Knocked down by Deere. Still in the centre circle after the goal has been scored. Tony Shaw out wide, a little bit too wide. John Kennedy, good mark. Oh, he's run too far. He's run a mile, and the umpire really doesn't need a ruler to measure this out because the marks from the Canadian football are still on the field.
Yes, and Kennedy playing loose in defence as he's moored at the other end for Collingwood.
Wes Fellows started well. Kennedy again. Boundary throw-in will take place in Hawthorn's right forward pocket, in Collingwood's right forward pocket. The Magpies have done most of the attacking so far. 21.5 minutes left in the term. 4 quarters of 25 minutes being played in these games. Cloak was Deere. Shaw, snapshot at goal, and he's put it through. 2 goals to Collingwood.
Now, Tony Shaw with a quick kick from the boundary throw-in. Really didn't look very much off the boot. As we watch this in replay, the quick kick, no one back in the goal square, and from 15 metres out, the ball rolled very truly, and the Collingwood side are very, very happy about that indeed.
Hawthorn a little bit shell-shocked at the moment with 2 quick goals to the Magpies. Tony Shaw booting the last one, knocked away by Fellows onto Dacos. It's Collingwood doing everything right so far. Down to half forward. Taylor doesn't get a favourable bounce. Schwab backs up, applies the tackle on Taylor. It rebounds to Langford. Hawthorn out of danger, only momentarily. Brett playing behind. Morrissey rows the pack beautifully, shoots at goal. That's Hawthorn's first score. It hit the post for 1 behind. So bad luck for the Hawks. Collingwood leads by 11 points. We'll have to keep our own score again, Malcolm. The scoreboard doesn't seem quite up with it here. Knocked down or knocked away by Buckenara. Ayres has the chance. Nearly copped one from Turner for his trouble. It's going to be a free kick to Hawthorn from umpire Brian Sheehan. And Gary Ayres will take it. He's the acting captain.
So Gary Ayres, captain for the day, from about between 30 and 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Not much angle on this ground at all. Just very small pockets. As Ayres lines up, kicks, just fades across to the right. Brereton unable to control it, and through for a point. So Hawthorn 2 points, trailing Collingwood 2 goals. The margin is 10 points different.
Mark taken by Brown. Gavin Brown with the breeze, long. Target of Starcevic. 2 Hawthorn players flew. It comes down to Kennedy after Deere couldn't drag the mark down. Dippy to Medico. Well tackled from Mullane. Now the umpire has found a free kick. Penalised for holding the ball. If that was the case, a little bit harsh, I feel. But nonetheless a correct tackle. Darren Mullane at midfield. Kennedy again, but didn't have the height and misjudged it, and Craig Starcevic drags it down for a mark. Starcevic about 45 metres out. Standing on that mark anyway for the Canadian football. Gives us an idea of coming closer than that. They're actually yards though. So should get the distance with the kick, which he has done. Might have drifted away a little bit and have to wait on the goal umpire. It's a goal. It's been their better play. Goal kickers for Collingwood, Shaw, Cloak, and then Starcevic. Ball back into the centre. A good quarter for the Magpies so far. Fellows and Deere go up. Neither comes down with it. Fellows flicks out the hand pass. Collingwood first to the ball so far, fumbled by Gowers, gets the hand pass out, almost to be expected.
And behind play, of course, Peter, as play goes on.
Play still continues, that's right. Free kick going Collingwood's way, so the Magpies will get some breathing space. Morwood held when not in possession. He's going to have to go back and take the kick.
No, in fact, it's going to be a bounce down because he handball.
Right, he paid the handball after a free kick. Should mention to our Canadian viewers that Malcolm is going to be coach of one of the VFL sides next year, and that being Geelong, who were beaten by Carlton in the Foster's Cup at the Oval in London. The mark for Collingwood has been taken by Ryan at half forward. Matthew Ryan, chance for another goal to Collingwood. This would be a little bit of an upset, I think, to Collingwood, or for Collingwood to get away. It's a good lead in this first quarter. Should get the distance again, which he has done. It looks a goal for mine, and it is.
So 4 goals to Collingwood, the first one for Matthew Ryan. They move on to 4 goals, 24 points. Hawthorn just the 2 points and a 22-point break early in this first quarter with some 16-odd minutes to go.
Yes, Hawthorn hasn't really had a touch of the ball so far.
In fact, Fellows has been quite dominant around the ball and getting that ball out of the centre of the ground.
Collingwood coach Lee Matthews, former Hawthorn player. High in the stands here, actually just below us. Fellows thumps it well clear. He's giving Deere a bath. Abbott. Into that loose man in defence. Morwood taking a safe mark. Mullane. Now, a Hawthorn player was grabbed when not in position. That was a very poor tackle from Christian. And Buckenara, actually it was intended to be a shepherd, wasn't it?
Yes, very, very clumsy.
So Gary Buckenara against the breeze. Might be a bit too far out to score. Christian in front and marks. Only man that ever looked like taking that mark.
Where's Fellows, in fact, Peter? Was
sorry, Fellows. Well, Fellows just about best on the ground at the moment. In fact, I'll delete just about. He is playing well. 2 Hawthorn players fly. Abbott. Short pass again to Buckenara, this time on the run. A little bit closer to goal. Curves that one around. It might be Hawthorn's first, is it? No. One behind. They can't score them. 3 points. Collingwood 4 goals. Well, if Hawthorn are going to win it, they're going to have to come from behind. Detroit Red Wings did that last night in the hockey stadium, defeating the Maple Leafs, and they did it well. Maybe Hawthorn are going to have to do the same thing. Fellows to Tony Shaw, out to McGuan. The mark at half forward is taken for the Magpies by Craig Starcevich. Starcevich goes long, and it will be through for 1 point. So Collingwood 4-1, 3 behinds, and we've got 14 minutes left in the first quarter.
Chris Langford coming out short to Platten on his own. Platten with the opportunity to go over the top is forced back by Tony Shaw, who really did guard the mark very well. Platten long, back drifting back in towards the centre of the ground. Great mark in front by Tony Hall as a pack of players descended upon him, and really has been an excellent player in the VFL this season. Tony Hall looking in the Brereton direction. It's where the ball goes. Kelly toe-to-toe. Morwood over the back and marks. So Shane Morwood, once again, this loose player in defence, doing the job. Out wide to McGuan. They use this ploy very well in Miami. He now comes back in the centre. Big pack of players. A push from behind, and the free kick will go to Langford. So Langford, once again, looking direct, straight down the ground. Kelly's the flyer from behind, the lad from Nord in Adelaide. Handball's off to Turner in trouble. McGuan with a bit of space. Now caught. Buckenara over to top the Dipier Dominico, slips over. Mullane clear. Using Morwood on the back play. Once again to Christian. Christian caught. Gone. Play on, says the umpire. Brereton caught. Morwood in over the top of the ball. Now Schwab. Schwab onto the right foot and brings the ball across the face of goals for a point to Hawthorn. So Hawthorn's 4th point, 4 goals, 1-25 Collingwood, just 4 solitary points to Hawthorn.
Joyce, the Hawthorn coach we saw there, looking a little bit well concerned. I don't think he'd be too worried so far because Hawthorn hasn't raised a gallop. It's been all Collingwood. Ayres, well, Mr. Markey would normally take in his sleep. Now Dacos on centre wing, breaks the tackle. Well, I thought went out of bounds. The boundary umpire disagrees. He's gone long and finds Taylor. Should have found Taylor. Langford, a good spoil. Gowers to that same player. Langford's kick, hugging the boundary line, might be just inside for Buckenara, who takes the mark. Actually goes backwards with the pass and finds Andy Collins on his own. Collins got plenty of space. He'll be well shepherded. The bad pass lets Christian in for the easiest of marks. So Hawthorn not really applying themselves so far. Christian, long, looking for Taylor. Langford should have marked it. Cloak's there. Now Gowers has the run. Had a bad shoulder injury, which kept him out of Hawthorn's grand final side. Onto Buckenara and put it out of bounds on the full, I think. Did he not? No. Morrissey. Brewitt hasn't found touch so far. Good hand. No, it wasn't a good hand pass from Hall. Morwood intercepting beautifully. Up high was Abbott to spoil. Deer. Turner. Could have a shot from there. 35 metres out. Number 5 for Collingwood. Receiving end. So Collingwood's 5th goal, and they've been kicked by 5 different players. Deer has not been doing so well at the centre bounces, and Fellows again wins that one out. Shaw had to get rid of it quickly. Ayres scragged when not in possession. Should have been a free kick earlier for a high tackle, one would have thought. Schwab has the free for Hawthorn. Still goalless. Christian couldn't take the grab for Collingwood. Platten, he's been quiet so far. This time it is out of bounds. John Platten, former best and fairest in the VFL, winner of the Brownlow medal. He's been quiet so far in the opening term. That's in the back twice. So Greg Deer to take the free kick. He'll be looking for Dunstall, who's kickless so far. And Dunstall actually held, but the mark is taken by Kelly, relaying it in turn to McGuan. Tony Shaw in front of his teammate Peter Dacos. Collingwood looking, Malcolm, as though they want the ball a bit more.
Yes, they've played very effectively so far.
David Cloak in front on left centre wing. That awkward kicking style of his, nonetheless effective. To Dacos. It's down to half forward. Gavin Brown, just about a throw. Out to Cloak. He can kick his second goal, and does. It's a bath at the moment.
Gee, fantastic play then from David Cloak. He really did start it with a great chest mark, once again using his strength on Gower. Just causing a couple of problems at the moment in that centre half forward position. And then had the nous to follow up after a couple of chip passes and followed up from that handball from Brown and then kicked very truly indeed. So certainly a focal point at centre half forward, and Hawthorn just in a bit of trouble in that position.
Well, the Hawks not really wanting the ball as much as Collingwood, and that indeed is told on the scoreboard. Won't be too many late nights here in Toronto. Brereton went through. Hasn't had too many touches so far. The Hawthorn star half forward. In fact, you really couldn't name a good Hawthorn player, Malcolm, could you, at the moment?
No, they can't get hold of the footy at the moment.
Deer finally gets a tap out. Buckenara, well, maybe he would have been their best. Not with kicks like that, though. On his left foot, non-preferred kicking side. Brereton on top of the pack will get a free kick for a push in the back. Now, Brereton is on a pretty fair angle, but would have kicked them from this distance and this angle before.
Yes, it's not an impossible angle on the ground because of the shortness of the pockets or the narrowness of them. Really does cut down that angle, and he really is probably only shooting from about a 30-degree angle.
Yeah. That looks pretty good. That's Hawthorn's first goal.
So Brereton, who has been trying to get into the play, has certainly had a couple of clashes. Kelly's done pretty well on him. They had a bit of a change at the start of this game, and Kelly eventually went onto him. And Kelly's done very well, but Brereton then with just that appetite as we look. As Brereton's kick, it was a lovely kick, probably going more into the teeth of the breeze there rather than with any angle, but a great kick. But back in the centre, Manson up early, gets the tap down. Through goes Hall, feeds the ball out. Ryan, very, very clever indeed with his possession. Cloak taps it out again. Hall in there over the ball. He taps out too. Mullane's got a bit of space. Hooks the ball around in the Starcevic direction, really unattended. Oh, and almost made a meal of it as Collins came in late.
Might have got a free kick anyway.
Yes. So 35 metres out is Craig Starcevic. And they've kicked goals. Kick goals from this position. Craig Starcevic kicks. Looks to me it's pushed it to right. 1 point only.
6-2-38 to 1-4-10. So a 28-point advantage to Collingwood. Be a nice way to finish the year for the Magpies with the win in this Foster's Cup. After Hawthorn had won the pre-season competition and the VFL Grand Final. We haven't seen the best of Hawthorn so far today. Collingwood playing well. Dacos at the back. What a marvel this fellow is. Great ball skills. Up to Taylor and Langford. Taylor hanging on and marks. Used strength to out-bustle. Langford was actually hanging on to Langford's arm, which is not legal. But nonetheless wasn't seen by the umpire, and Taylor will kick from point-blank range for his first goal and Collingwood's 7th. And puts it through.
In NFL football.
Brian Taylor's first goal. And Collingwood's 7th in the first quarter. We still have 4:55 left in the opening term. This time knocked down by Greg Deere. Dacos intercepting his Kennedy onto Hall for Hawthorn. Nick McGuan. A high tackle from Dippy Domenico. Turner comes in to remonstrate. Dippy fixes him up as well. He's given away a penalty. Normally back home they're 50 metres, but here they're translated to 25 in view of the shortness of the ground. McGuan.
Beautiful.
Beautiful pass, yes, onto Brian Taylor. And this guy can kick his second goal here if he gets onto it. And he certainly has the talent to do that. Taylor for his second goal and Collingwood's 8th. And he hasn't quite got onto it. Starcevic, sure, should have marked that one. Ryan trying to get clear, can't do so. Shaw in front of Collins. Hooks the ball back into play, not the required distance for a mark, knocked away by Gowers. Collins gets put out of business by Tony Shaw with a good bump. And it's going to be a throw in right next to the behind post.
Yeah, the Canadian crowd loved Tony Shaw's endeavour then. It was terrific stuff.
Over the top, Taylor hits it straight down, no one there, and it rolls through for one behind, 7-3 to 1-4. Hawthorn would have to lift 100%. Buckenara. There's a cross ground. Platten, fairly quiet so far. He'll be a right half-back flank. John Platten, Hawthorn against the breeze. Good kick. Plenty of distance in it. Christian in the box seat. Punches clear. Free kick to Hawthorn for interference. And it will be taken by Dermot Brereton at right centre wing. Right on the Foster's emblem. Brereton looking for Dunstall, who's kickless so far. Has to beat 3 of them. Kennedy, really one of the few Hawks showing endeavour. Snapshot is off target. One behind. So 1-5. I guess you'd have to say the chances have been there, but they really haven't made the play up forward, Hawthorn. The man with the football is Jamie Turner. He'll kick it back into play.
Turner, kick off the inside of the boot, favours Brereton. Brereton leading in the race with Brown. Out to meet him was Gayford. Gayford just controls the ball inside the line. Unfortunately, under pressure, pushes the ball out. Dacos in over the ball. He really rarely falls over. Tripped from behind that time. Platten terrific around the body, only to fall in the safe arms of Gayford. Gayford back pocket position for Collingwood. Just over 2 minutes to go. Goes short to Turner. Turner out wide, back through the middle again. Then elects to go long. Back in the centre. Cloaked the target. Punched away by Abbott. Off the hands to Gowers. Gowers, kicked Brereton and Kelly. They really are having a bit of a mix-up there. And the free kick is actually going to Dermot Brereton. I would suggest that Craig Kelly, a no-nonsense youngster from Nord in South Australia.
Where does Kelly usually play, Malcolm?
Either centre-half forward or centre-half back. And I think that in trying to punch that ball away, then Brereton has certainly copped one. He looks in a bit of trouble, actually, Pete.
He does, yeah.
Very tough customer, of course. Not too many Collingwood players appear to be worried about it all. As we watch this, he really did got one a bit high.
Barry Gavin, the Hawthorn physio, and Terry Gay, the club doctor, are out there.
So Brereton getting a cheer from the crowd for getting up and taking his kick. And about 30 metres out, directly in front. Normally a pretty reliable kick. Oh, terrific. Runs into the man on the mark, and that was Kelly. Morwood then uses Kelly, and Kelly with a great handball, sweeping handball out wide to Brown. Brown on to Starcevic, and Collingwood really out of trouble from what should have been a shot at goal from Brereton. Kick in towards centre half forward. Cloak, Taylor, Langford, the big fly from behind. Dacos trying to work his way clear. Now is dummies again. Three. That's three he's beat. Over to Hawk onto the ground for the first time. Hawk shoots at goal and unfortunately misses.
Deserved a goal, that.
So 7 goals for Collingwood. 45 points. Hawthorn won 5, 11 points. Hawthorn trail by 34 points in the last 20 seconds of this first quarter.
Well, it was a brilliant piece of play by Peter Dacos. As I said, it deserved a goal. 11 seconds to go. Up the centre wing. Abbott leaves it to Schwab. Schwab's kick is only a short one, only travels about 35 metres. Still goes out of bounds on the other side, though, as the siren rings for the end of the first quarter. A brilliant one for Collingwood, and they certainly showed Hawthorn a clean pair of heels in the opening term. It's the Magpies 7-4-46, leading Hawthorn 1-5-11 in the grand final of the Foster's Cup. Back at Varsity Stadium, just about to start the second quarter now. It was Foster's grand final. The International Challenge coming to you from Varsity Stadium, Toronto. The Magpies lead by 35 points. Brereton off the ground for Hawthorn. Paul Deere at centre half forward. Put down by umpire Peter Carey. Knock on by Deere. That's Greg Deere out to Buckenara. Hooked it across his body. Forward to half forward. Mullane to Turner. Dacos, who was brilliant in that opening quarter, gets it out to the centre wing position. The mark taken by Gavin Brown. Taylor used some bulk there. Starcevic comes out with the ball. Platten at the fall of it. Now it's Gowers. Back to Langford. Langford's kick wobbles up towards the half-back line. Socked away by the Hawthorn defence, and a good smother there by Deere. Sees the ball out of bounds, and it'll be thrown in on centre wing. Dermot Brereton, who got a hefty whack in the first quarter, going to the dressing rooms. I'm sure he'll file that in the memory bank for future reference. He's opposite number 23. He can hardly forget it. Now Brown grabbed with not in possession. It'll be a Collingwood free kick to one of them. Brown at right centre wing, just off the edge of the centre square. Looks for Taylor. Langford with the big punch. Fumble by Collins didn't help Hawthorn's cause. Out to Platten. John Platten, seen now at his very best. Former Brownlow medal winner, spiral punt kick up to Dunstall at half forward. Kickless so far, and he's not going to get one here. Kennedy might get Hawthorn's second goal. He does! Badly needed one for the Hawks, and a good way to start the second quarter.
Yes, that breeze is certainly an advantage to Hawthorn this quarter. It's a great contest all the way down the ground. Then Platten was just brilliant. The ball eventually down to a contest and back inside to Kennedy, and kept the ball in front of him was the important thing, and it sat beautifully and for tow it through for a goal. Second goal to Hawthorn. So back in the centre of the ground, Deere against Manson. Manson with a good push forward, favours the Collingwood side. Ayres there to cut it out though, out wide to Collins. Collins hooks back and high. Buckenara underneath it, Christian from behind, punched and out of bounds, almost in the wing position, slightly favouring Hawthorn. So with Brereton off the ground and Deere at centre half forward, interesting move there from Alan Joyce. Deere knocks on. Hall very, very clever, onto Morrissey. Kennedy again, out wide to Hall, good on his left foot he is, hooks the ball back, great goal to Tony Hall and Hawthorn.
That was Hawthorn's third goal, just under 22 minutes left in the second quarter, and Hawthorn already has 2 goals on the board. So maybe the wind's certainly a little bit stronger than we thought. Manson taps it down. Collingwood can't get it out of the centre. It's Hawthorn through Dippy to Benico, who does. His kick will probably wrong over the line. It does. It will be a boundary throw in left forward pocket for Hawthorn. Maybe the wind's deceptive, Malcolm, although Hawthorn with a little bit more endeavour this term.
Yes, it is fairly breezy down there, Peter, and standing on the roof before it was pretty breezy too.
She did look a trifle green, I must admit. Paul Diek goes up. Collingwood. Kelly gets the kick away. It was Brown's kick, slewed off the side of the boot. Good pressuring by Hawthorn. There's Hall again. Out to Ayres, the acting captain, with Michael Tuck not in Toronto, and he's put it through for a goal. Hawthorn's third this quarter.
So the Hawthorn side that we know, relentless in their approach and their endeavour. Really, the scoreboard means very little to them, and they just keep at it. And really, they're just forcing the ball forward now. Collingwood just under a bit of pressure at the back in defence as we watch that kick from Ayres, set up again by Tony Hall. Now playing in the centre as a run-on player with Platten and Deere.
Russell Morris acting as one of the Hawthorn water carriers. Back into the centre, knocked away by Manson. Chance for Mullane to pick the ball up. Beaten for it by Abbott. Collins comes out with it. Schwab farms out a hand pass pretty quickly. It's to Gowers. Gowers' kick dropped short. The mark taken by Brown. Out to McGuan. Out wide again to Starcevic at right half forward flank. He could score from there, and in fact has scored a goal.
Starcevic's second goal and Collingwood's 8th. 8-4, 52. Hawthorn 4-5, 29. A margin of 23 points. And the first score of the quarter for Collingwood, with Craig Starcevic kicking his second goal. In fact, he's kicked 2 goals too, so he's been pretty busy up forward. And it just shows how dangerous this ground can be. Goals can be scored from very, very close in.
Back into the centre, Starcevic's second goal. He and David Cloak both have 2 for Collingwood. Attempted kick off the ground, not successful for Hawthorn. Brown in everything for Collingwood, out to Hawke. Hawke's kick up to right half forward. Starcevic and Collins. Starcevic has the height, and he's got here's another goal. Taylor, that's an easy one for him. Brian Taylor putting through his second. And Collingwood answering the challenge in no uncertain term. 2 goals kicked in about a minute and a bit.
Yes, that rush out of the centres, so important here. I mentioned before about kicking goals from close in. I mean, you can kick them from any angle on the ground and really from the centre almost. Very dangerous ground, 15 aside. Interesting stage now. Hawthorn must come back.
Gowers on Taylor, we notice. Interesting move. So Brian Taylor putting through his second goal. He, Starcevic and Cloak all have 2 for Collingwood. The Magpies answering the challenge. Hawke gets it out of the centre, not to be confused with the Hawk. Here's Starcevic again. Can he get another one? He has. Oh, terrific stuff. But I would have thought has been caught with the ball. Not too much room there, and Paul Hawke will take the free kick for Collingwood, as was the case last week in Miami. He started on the bench, and that's another mark to the Magpies, dragged in by David Cloak. Not too many poor players in the Collingwood jersey at the moment, and they're showing Hawthorn how it should be played. Cloak, opportunity for goal number 3 to the licensed grocer from Kew. I think our Canadian friends would be able to work that out, Malcolm, would they? He sells beer. That's the best way to put it. And I dare say he'd sell a few Fosters. Must drop in for a free 6-pack now. International television. He's never had a plug like that before, has he?
And Gowers now playing on Taylor, about to bring the ball back in. Oh, it really goes in the Cloak direction again, but a big leap from behind from Paul Deere. Hawke caught with the ball. The ball spills free to Ayres. Ayres waiting to set it up again. Goes direct. Kennedy and Morwood with Dunstall over the top. What a mark. Jason Dunstall.
And got a blood nose for his trouble. Or was he spitting out teeth?
Oh, what a fantastic mark.
Blood nose.
Yes, I think that might have been a bit of a clash of heads of Morwood coming back in then.
We may say that on replay. Jason hasn't had a kick so far. George Stone, the runner, coming out and having a look at him pretty quickly.
Replay. There he is coming over the top, and it
might have been a fist from Gafer, was it?
Yes, might have been too. So this would be very tragic, you know, if both Dunstall and, of course, Brereton being off the ground, the two big key guns up forward. Looking at it again, yes, and in fact, I think it's probably the Gayfer attempt to punch as Dunstall turned his body to the side. What a great, great mark.
Terry Gay, the man in the blue jacket, the Hawthorn doctor. The 20 years McGuinness will probably come on if Dunstan has to leave the field, and that, as Malcolm said, would be a little bit of a tragedy because two of the stars at Hawthorn side, Dermot Brereton off the field and Jason Dunstan, the possibility for same. Dunstan's a pretty tough cookie. It was a great mark. And Hawthorn needs a goal. That's the understatement of the day so far.
And I suppose, Pete, I don't know too many players that go through a football career and don't have a broken nose at some stage or other.
You're speaking from experience. Jason Dunstall, 35 metres out. Yeah, he's hooked that one, I think.
And straight off the ground as well.
And the goal umpire indicating only one behind.
Alan Joyce.
Going to full forward.
Very worrying. And
Scott McGuinness coming on to replace Dunstall. I wonder if it's broken or not. Won't know until later. It's a bit of a blow for Hawthorn. So already without their captain Michael Tuck, who is not here. Brereton. And of course now Dunstall. Leaves a bit of a hole there, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. Gone with the ball. Half-back flank. Looks to go down to the wing. A lot of pushing and shoving. Starcevic was the flyer from behind. Deer quick kick. Picked up by Schwab. Schwab over to Platten. Platten knocks it on intelligently. Mullane does the same thing. Then Hawke kicks his body over the ball and with a quick kick, kicks it out of bounds on the full. However, will be paid the free for an infringement as he kicked, and that was too high.
Not too much doubt about that.
So as we look at this again, as he gets the kick, Tony Hall over the top with a round arm right, goes short into McGuan. McGuan back in towards the centre, and Turner's there. Turner now long, 5 in a pack, big flies. Ryan picks up the crumbs out to Dacos. Dacos skillfully eludes 2, then on the left foot. Thank you very much. Great goal to Peter Dacos.
Dacos. So Peter Dacos' first goal, and Dacos brilliant for Collingwood. And Collingwood have got a lot of good players at the moment. Deer wins that one down to Hall. Platten grabbed by Kelly. No chance of getting rid of it. And so it's going to be another bounce at centre field. John Platten, Tiny Tim lookalike. A great player for Hawthorn. I don't know what you'd call that. Buckenara, Hawke intercepting, grabbed well by Hall. He's going to get another free kick though, Paul Hawke. He's having a charmed life at the moment. Well, about time Hawthorn showed some fire. Collingwood have biffed 2 of their players off the field, Brereton and Dunstall. Hawthorn taking it a bit easy. Abbott punches it clear. Buckenara. Gowers. That's a real rainmaker, that one. 50 metres up and 50 down. Close to centre wing. Mick McGuan, number 34, gets carted over with the ball. Kennedy comes up with it, but too late. And it will be a boundary throw-in just on Hawthorn's attacking side of centre. Fellows in front. Knocked down by Deer. Mullane. Short kick up the half forward. Collins and Ryan do battle. Cloak comes out. Abbott gets there first. Ryan robes it well. Went out of bounds nearly. Gets it back to David Clark. I thought that was out. Ryan comes out with the ball again to shoot at goal. And he has missed it and put it through for one behind.
Yes, those smaller players, Peter. Dacos, Brown, Turner, Hawke, all being very busy under the fall of the pack. Really creating a lot of opportunities up forward.
11-6 to 4-6. Hawthorn behind by 7 goals. And
great mark to Mullane.
Fantastic effort. And he'll kick this. A short pass in defence is never really a good ploy. This man is on his own. Darren Mullane has been seen hither and thither in Toronto during the week. Will shoot at goal. That's another one, I think. It's a goal to Darren Mullane.
5 goals in this quarter to Collingwood against the Breeze, to only 3 by Hawthorn, and strangely enough Hawthorn got the first 3, so that means Collingwood have kicked the last 5 goals against the Breeze. And just looking at a flag over the back there, Peter, perhaps not as horizontal as it was before, and perhaps that wind just has died off a bit.
So 2 of Hawthorn's efforts. Collingwood well on top in the Foster's grand final of this international challenge from the Varsity Stadium in Toronto. Here just tries to give Hawthorn's a bite, picked up by Turner. Not a well-directed kick though, and Paul Abbott takes the mark in front of Cloak. Collingwood with far too many good players at the moment. Abbott straight down the ground. Underneath it is Lawrence to add some height to the Hawthorn forward line. Schwab trying to get clear, well tackled by Morwood. And a stalemate, according to umpire Peter Carey. It'll be a bounce at centre half forward for Hawthorn.
Plenty of pride, the Hawthorn side. You really don't expect them to lie down. You expect them to fight back from here.
Fellows will get a free kick for a push in the back. I think that was fairly obvious. Fellows, I guess, was the catalyst in the opening few minutes to get Collingwood moving. He clearly outpointed Deere, though he hasn't been as dominant of late. But the Magpies off to a great start. Kelly, well tackled by Kennedy, and holds the ball too long. John Kennedy will take the free kick for Hawthorn.
Yes, he's very sore, Craig Kelly. Caught one earlier when that Dunstall mark, but he really has been hobbling around since, and wouldn't surprise me to see him taken from the ground.
I wouldn't put him too near Dermot Brereton on the sidelines, though, just the same. Well, there's a great mark taken by Fellows. It's the hand pass away to Gafer, who disposed of Dunstall in no uncertain terms. Well, Hawke kicks into the man on the mark. Paul Deere started on the bench, gets the hand pass over the head of Lawrence, and that's not too easy because he's about 6'11", onto Turner. And it's all Collingwood, though. The Magpies doing it well through McGuan. Chipping in for Hawthorn as Langford. Langford at left centre wing, fires the pass down, and Stephen Lawrence stands his ground. The tallest man on the field, I would think. Former Queenslander. Put him out the running track here.
It's going to be a very difficult kick coming through that soft sand that has been put around the ground. Have a pretty good indication of the breeze here from behind him. As he kicks to the front of the goal square. Pack of players up, can't mark. Off hands, touched. Andrew Gowers, 1 point.
Well, Andrew Gowers has had a few tasks. He's been at full-back, half-back, and it looks as though he's now having a stint at the forward line.
Yes, looking at Alan Jeans on the boundary line, he's pacing it up and down like a gridiron case. Most unusual. Short kick in from Morwood and finds McGuan.
Gowers coming off, Morrissey on for Hawthorn.
McGuan out wide. Starcevic certainly has made himself available many times in this game so far. Kicks long, great smother from Langford, and a boundary throw in almost on the true wing position. 12-6 plays 4-7. Down, great tap from Fellows to Dacos. Dacos towards centre half forward. Cloak in front, using the body. Abbott over the ball, gets his left foot to it. Back in the centre. Hawks have the numbers. Pritchard with it. Kicks short. The ball bouncing. Tapped on by Lawrence. Morwood over the ball and takes the ball out of bounds and earns a free kick in the meantime. So Morwood, free kick from the back pocket. Once again goes short. McGuan really becoming a link player on this side of the ground. Goes inside to Mullane, and Mullane takes the mark. Abbott in too late. And Mullane just behind centre. Kicks long. Once again, Cloak direction. In front. Punch from behind from Abbott. Finds Hawke. Hawke finds Starcevic. Takes his eye off the ball at the last moment. Langford out to Platten. Platten onto McGuinness. And McGuinness with the left foot back inside again. Here's Kennedy fighting for the ball and does it very, very cleverly. Over to Tony Hall. Put it down. 1 goal. Should be. No. Well, Tony Hall with excellent skills normally. Unfortunately, Hawthorn now 4 goals, 8-32. Trail Collingwood 12-6-78. The margin is 46 points at the 6 minutes to go of this second quarter.
Well, it's on this ground not an insurmountable task. Schwab to Kennedy, who's probably been Hawthorn's best player, has a shot at goal and looks pretty good. It's a goal. 5-8 to 12-6 at the Varsity Stadium. John Kennedy putting through his second goal, and as such, as Hawthorn's most productive forward, Fellows wins it out. Out to Ayres, trying to lead by example. And a bit of a fumble down there by a couple of Collingwood players. Turner might come out of it with a free kick for in the back. In fact, that will be the case. Jamie Turner at the left half-back flank. Close to half-time. We've got under 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Turner, his father played for the Magpies a few years back now. Big pack of players. Hall again, Platten, good tackle, Kerrison. McGuan and Hall. Hall backs into the pack. Collingwood player grabbed too high was Ryan. Ayres fumbles. Kerrison, well played. Good tackle there. Might have been too high. Kerrison ducking his head, comes up with a free kick. 3-on-1 against Mullane. Kerrison looks for Taylor. Thumped away. Good tackle by McGuinness on Ryan. Trying to break away as Pritchard. Hawthorn defending desperately, and it's going to be a bounce left half forward flank for Collingwood. So Peter Carey indicating where he's going to bounce it. It's going to be Deere. Kerrison takes it. Shot at goal. Taylor in front of McGuinness marks. Brian Taylor's had a few opponents down there. I don't know whether he's been a dominating force, but Alan Joyce has really had to swing his side around, hasn't he, Malcolm?
Yes, with Dunstall and Brereton being off the ground, he really has had to make some changes, and that was just the strength then of Brian Taylor on McGuinness. So Taylor kicks, looks good. Yes.
Taylor, goal number 3, joining Craig Starcevich as the Magpies' leading goal kicker with the same figure.
So 6 goals this quarter now to Collingwood and 4 to Hawthorn. So the Hawks really, when you thought with the breeze, almost, Peter, now that flag is almost limp.
Yes, it's certainly died right down, but it's Collingwood's good play. They're getting to the ball first, showing much more endeavour, much more vigour than Hawthorn. It has been a long season. Taylor's 3rd goal. Hawthorn's tap out from the centre to Paul Deere. Banks fumbles, actually grabs Ayres when he didn't have the ball. That'll be a free kick. The advantage rule played, taken by Morrissey. Morrissey's gone for a short pass. Gaither well tackled by Lawrence. It rebounds for Morrissey. The hand pass ill-directed. Good pressuring by Morwood and Kerrison. Banks comes in for assistance. Buckenara on the bottom. Morwood tries to get it out the back. Not successful. And it will be a bounce about 15 metres out from Hawthorn's goal.
Pretty willing game, Peter.
It is, especially from Collingwood's side. They've tackled well. With Brereton and Dunstall on the sidelines as a result thereof. Knocked away from Paul Deere. Down goes Kennedy. Diving on top of him is Turner, number 24. And again, it will be a bounce almost in the same spot. Paul Deere was Hawthorn's most valuable player in their reserves this year. Knocked away by Morrissey. Opposite number 35 is Dacos onto Kerrison. Plenty of time to steady after a useful sidestep. Langford, an easy mark. Best fullback in the competition in the eyes of many. Christian. Play on, says the umpire. Gets it and turn out to Brown. To Turner. Collingwood's running game well. McGuan, bit of focal point across the half-back line. Turner ultimately gets boot to ball, tries to find Cloak. Taylor's down there. Collins in front of him. Taylor has the bulk. Collins maybe the speed. Has to beat 3 of them. Did so. Did it well to Platten. Nowhere to go. Very little support for Platten. Oh, gets steamrolled by Taylor. That should be a free kick downfield. Oh, Taylor let one go at McGuinness. Lovely right-hand cross from Brian Taylor. That was a ripper. Plays continued and Hawthorn have got a goal.
Tony Hall, great goal.
I'm glad you saw that. I was watching the fight.
Well, I saw what you called, and I just happened to look back, and Hawthorn, with a couple of hand passes, really did set it up with Tony Hall, and he didn't let me down that time. It was a great goal.
Well, coming from South Australia, I think you've probably seen him play more games of football than I have. So I'll say, no, it wasn't me up.
Yes, my word, that certainly... Taylor was very, very late on Platten then. Deere actually marked very well in the centre of the ground, and the balls ended up with Tony Hall. That much needed goal. So we're back in the centre. Fellows back on the ground. Deere overrun by all players down in the last 18 seconds of the game. I think we're going to be very, very lucky now to get another score as half-time closes in, and Collingwood really has been their half of football. 40 points in front of Hawthorn at the moment. So right on the square, Deer and Fellows. Deer up high, punches out wide in the Banks direction. Platten there, and there's the siren. Half-time.
So at half-time, it's Collingwood 13-6-84, leading Hawthorn 6-8-44 at Toronto's Varsity Oval. And so at the Varsity Stadium in Toronto, we begin the second half. Collingwood leading by 40 points over Hawthorn, 13-6 to 6-8. Burton lining up at full forward. No reappearance from Jason Dunstall. McGuan out to Banks. Good tackle Collins. It rebounds to Dacos. Dacos on right centre wing. An underground hand pass almost. Abbott picks up well for Hawthorn. He kicked 6 goals in Hawthorn's winning grand final side. Knocked down by Paul Deer onto Morrissey. Close to the boundary line. That's out of bounds on the full. It will be a free kick to Collingwood at the right half-back flank. Crowd certainly built up. Probably around about the 15,000 mark now. And we're waiting for the ball to come back into play. It'll be taken by Michael Christian. Christian taking the free. Cloak. Oh, good use of the body. Just couldn't drag the mark down, or has he been painted? Yes, he has.
Probably a free kick, Peter. He really did get taken high as he went for that mark.
Yeah, true. David Cloak with the free. Or kick, if you like. Cloak to... Well, he would just about be within kicking distance. Kick number 6 to David Cloak. And, of course, Cloak already has 2 goals to his credit. He'll be about 40 to 45 metres out. Drop punt looks pretty good. And that's another one to Collingwood. Cloak's third. And that's just what Hawthorn didn't want to start the third quarter. David Cloak holds her very well in the Brownlow again this year, despite not being a preferred option from Lee Matthews and the Collingwood match committee. When you've got big guys there like Manson and Fellows putting pressure on. So Cloak putting through his third goal. A great start for Collingwood in the third term. Knocked down by Fellows again. There's Cloak once more doing some damage. Can't get past Platten. In comes Ayres. Grabbed well by Turner. And umpire Peter Carey will bounce it just off centre.
Yes, Hawthorn having a great deal of difficulty in getting this ball away from the Crushers. They really need some players at ground level. As Deer and Fellows try and occupy the same space. The quick handball came out. Now falls Collins' way. Colin wheels back. Free kick downfield as Fellows runs into him. And it'll be John Kennedy downfield who'll take the free kick. 30, 35 metres out. On about a 60-degree angle. So, very good skills, John Kennedy. Sets the ball up. The ball just dropped short. Brereton paid the mark in front as Gaither misread it, and the ball held up in that slight breeze now. Nowhere near as bad as it was earlier in the game. So, Dermot Brereton, will we see a check side or banana kick?
You better explain that to the Canadian viewers.
Well, he'll try and kick it off the end of his boot and make it spin the opposite way. And he should just twist the ball. He's looking at options. If he plays on, actually, he should be called out of bounds. He is going to kick the banana. He'll kick it off the end of the boot. There he runs out. Now screws it back in. It's not quite good enough. 1 point the result.
Kicked a beautiful goal like that in the VFL Grand Final on last Saturday in September. Didn't get the same result here. So a point to Hawthorn. Shane Kerrison will bring the ball back into play. Collingwood back pocket player. This time goes long. In front is Langford. Oh, and takes a beautiful mark. Started at full-back. I don't know where he's got... Alan Joyce has got him playing now. He's not at full-back, I can tell you that much. Kick out towards right half-forward flank for Hawthorn. Morrissey. Ayres. Tries for a centering kick. Collingwood has the numbers down there. And a good mark to Christian in front of Paul Deer. Christian goes across goal, looking for and finding Michael McGuan.
Doing the same as he did in Miami, finding space for himself out wide.
Yes, a little bit difficult on a ground of this shape. Well, Schwab showing better judgment than 3 Collingwood players. Comes down with the ball. Schwab out towards Paul Deere again. They could have got a free kick almost for interference there, but not paid by the umpire. It's going to be a ball up, bounce, right half forward flank for Hawthorn. Hawthorn trailing at the moment by a substantial margin, 90 to 45, so Hawthorn 45 points in arrears, and Collingwood got most of that advantage in the first quarter when they led by 35. Hawthorn started well in the second quarter, but they just couldn't really put any pressure on Collingwood. Still, they're a great side, and I'm sure they'll fight back. Knocked down by Paul Deere. Turner in front is Platten. Oh, good mark in front of Saunders. And they'll certainly need him to fire if they're to get back into the game.
Yes, Platten just forward of centre. Now looks in the Brereton direction. That's where the ball goes. Morrissey in front. Manson unable to control him. But James Morrissey plays on quickly. Now runs squares up the goals. Fires. And unfortunately for Hawthorn, misses. And they've had a couple of chances close into goals. Brereton's missed one now, Morrissey. A couple of important kicks. Dennis Banks kicking in. Looking for his options. Short again is Kerrison. They really have done this very well, Collingwood. They've controlled the ball. Now McGuan over the top. He should go over the top to Brown. But John Kennedy comes in and smothers it very, very well indeed. He read that very well. So the ball stays. Half forward flank. Hawthorn's advantage. Deere doing the ruck work up forward. He's against Manson. Hall over the top, but a free kick's gone to James Manson for interference from Deere. But the ball goes back to him. 44 points the difference. Back into the centre of the ground. Langford in front, Starcevic over the top. Saunders trying to work his way out of the pack. Falls to ground. And really, I'd have to agree, Peter, that was a pretty soft free kick.
Well, he had the ball and he appeared to be caught with it.
Darren Saunders from the centre of the ground kicks in the Taylor direction. 2 on to 1 here, and Abbott. It's Deere, in fact. Deere plays on now quickly onto his left foot. Kicks out wide. Morwood and Kennedy from behind is Banks and also Deere. Deere onto Kennedy, now onto his left foot. Hooks the ball back. Brilliant lead into Brereton. Great play from John Kennedy and disciplined stuff from the Hawthorn side. Gafer went to go back to defend the goals, and the Hawthorn creed of kicking the ball to the front of the square works once again.
So Dermot Brereton, a chance to bring up a goal for Hawthorn, which would be his second goal. 20 metres out, and has got. So Dermot Brereton getting a valuable goal for Hawthorn. Just over 17 minutes remaining in the third quarter. But Collingwood still with a very handy lead. There's Foster's challenge. Deere up high. Manson goes down. Morrissey to Schwab at right centre wing. Hawthorn swing into attack again. There's Brereton once more. Now is that a push in the back? One would have thought so. Yes, it is, says umpire Peter Carey. Dermot Brereton gets up whipping a little bit. Will take the free kick. What is, well, it is an athletic track around here, but they've put a little bit of dirt because there was a gutter there where the grass finished. And he's right next to a loudspeaker.
It's got a difficult kick, Peter, coming across that dirt.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
What Dermot's saying is, I want to go inside the boundary line and try and find some better turf.
Kick off target, one behind will be the result. So another point to Hawthorn, not having much luck kicking at goal. 14-6 to 7-11. Now that's 90 to 53. Shane Kerrison is the man with the ball. He'll bring it back into play. He's got plenty of options there. The obvious one is to Gafer in the back pocket. Michael Gafer from right back pocket. Kick drops a little bit short up towards centre wing. Knocked away by Paul Deere. To McGuan. Good smother by Collins. And the ball out of bounds. Left half forward flank for Hawthorn.
Peter, interesting, as Collingwood are kicking off, they really are letting Hawthorn are letting those short kicks go. They really are paying the penalty. They're really trying to build up a wall across half forward.
Hall to Kennedy to Paul Deere. And Paul Deere doing well this quarter. On to Platten. It's very, very high. In front is Brereton. Oh, good tackle almost on Dacos. The speed got him clear. Platten making sure that, I think it's Banks on the other side of that. Earned the kick. It is Dennis Banks.
Almost put a settle on him.
So it's Banks with the mark, and what would have been a free kick as well, I dare say. In front is Langford. Where's he playing, Malcolm?
Centre half back.
Centre half
or
back.
half back playing centre half back.
Over the head of John Platten. Platten makes amends. Morwood couldn't catch him. In front is Buckenara, couldn't take it. Here's Kennedy, tries off the ground again. 3 Collingwood players are there. Christian gets it onto the lane in the back pocket, nearly runs out of bound. The ball's still in play. Tapped further forward by Tony Hall. Pritchard on the bottom. Got one at the back, but could be penalised for lying on top of it. No, says the umpire, and Peter Carey will bounce it about 35 metres out from the Hawthorn goal. So Hawthorn pressuring the Collingwood defence, but not having too much success. Fellows and Paul Deere both miss it. Dacos doing well in this match. Gets it out to Dennis Banks. Banks goes for the short pass. That's effective. McGuan, did he have to play on? Yes, he did, says the umpire. Platten. Long hand pass to Buckenara over the top, perhaps intended for Morrissey. Collins is there, beautifully done to Schwab, who shoots at goal and puts it through. Hawthorn sneaking a little bit closer. Good passage of play, warmly applauded by the crowd. Can Hawthorn come back? Fellows knocks it down. Collins looking for a free kick, could have almost got one till he was grabbed when not in possession. Dacos, he's been brilliant this afternoon. 2 Hawthorn players racing for it. Schwab and McGuinness. McGuinness wisely takes the option at the boundary line. Will be thrown in almost in Collingwood's left forward pocket. So it's 90 plays 59. 31 points the difference, and that's not a huge task on a ground this size, but nonetheless a very good lead. Greg Deere goes for the boundary line again. We'll see a throw in the same place. Left forward pocket, David Cloak, Greg Deere, and he picks it up pretty well for a big man. Out to Tony Hall. Hall's kick up towards centre field. It's all Collingwood. Banks a good mark. Dennis Banks a little bit short of centre field. Collingwood starting well in the opening quarter, 7-4 to 1-5, and that if they're going to win the game, that'll just about be the reason. McGuinness, his father also played for the Hawks. McGuinness's kick. Well, Banks looking for another strong mark. Brown tries to charge his way through. Pritchard to Platten. On to Gary Buckenara. Buckenara will shoot at goal. Unfortunately, well off target though, and only one behind.
Fantastic running play then from the Hawthorn side. We've come accustomed to over the years. There's now Kerrison. Once again, they go short. Hawthorn concede this. Not quite sure if that's the right way to go. As Mullane with the ball from the back pocket up towards the wing. Fellows in best position. Hall in front. Knocked down. Collins, who's starting to get some touches in the centre of the ground. McGuan to ground. A lot of players in there. Morrissey in over the ball. Breaks away clearly. Langford, a charge. Turns, shoots at goal. Brereton just off line, and a point to Hawthorn. And Langford playing half back actually on Starcevic, being brought right up the ground by Starcevic, who makes himself available for the kickoffs. Here we go again with Kerrison looking for the short options. This time he's forced to kick long into the centre of the ground. Big pack up. Fellows first to recover. Can't get a boot on the ball. Hall over the top to Schwab. Schwab on to Di-Pierdomenico. Around the body goes Di-Pierdomenico, and Banks, who's starting to hold them up at centre half back in front of Deere. He goes out wide to McGuan. We've seen this play many times with McGuan. McGuan on to Christian, and Collingwood have got out of trouble again with some excellent short passing. Christian inside to Turner. Turner straightens up, lines up, and pushes the ball to the right. One behind to Collingwood. Collingwood 14-7-91. Hawthorn 8-13-61. A margin of 61, a margin of 30 points or 5 goals.
Mathematics was never your strong point, Mel, was it? Buckenara, strong mark in front of Christian. Short pass. Hawthorn acting captain or vice-captain Gary Ayres decides to go for a bounce. Haven't seen too much of that today. Mullane kept at bay with a good shepherd. And that kick is off target. Morrissey a chance, had he not fumbled. Shovels it out. Loveridge is there. Gaper almost over the boundary line. Kept it in play. McGuan. Kerrison. Long kick by the Collingwood defender. Lands the ball at half forward. McGuinness out to Platten. And Platten with a long kick transferring up towards Hawthorn's forward line. Thumped away by Dennis Banks. And he lands it in the arms of Langford, who unloads with a long punt up to Brereton. And Morwood goes for the safety of the boundary line. Buckenara looking for a free kick for deliberate out of bounds. And there's Jason Dunstall. I don't think he'll be reappearing, judging by not only the bandage but also the fact he's back in civvy. So the Hawks taking no chances with their star full forward. Oh, it's a wrestle down there. Fellows, well, Brereton went through pretty solidly and goals! Great effort by Brereton. And that, if Hawthorn needed something to spur them on, that could just about be it.
It typifies Dermot Brereton. He really does stand off a pack and charge the football. And when it falls his way, he really can make a meal of it. And he's done on that occasion. Just tremendous strength. Gafer's done a pretty good job on him man-to-man, but it's when Brereton can move around, Gafer really does have trouble. And a great goal to Hawthorn. 3
goals to Dermot Brereton, playing full forward with Dunstall on the sideline. Starcevic, he's been a little bit quieter after a good first quarter. Platten tackled arguably high, but of course he had the ball as well. So a good decision as a bounce, just wide of centre circle. Well, I don't think Jason will be coming back. Maybe the Argonauts could help. They sailed ships, didn't they, the Argonauts? Time ago, you might remember it, Mel. Cloak up to half forward. Picked up by Langford again. Christian in front. Loveridge. Oh, Dacos takes it beautifully. The police should call him because that was a steal. It'll be a boundary throw in on centre wing. Cloak. Starcevic doesn't get a favourable bounce. Picked up by Dacos again. Long shot. Goal umpire getting underneath it indicates only one behind. So pretty close one. That 14-7 to 9-13 the score. 14-8 make it now. 92 to 67. Hawthorn not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be McGuinness. Long kick. McGuinness started on the bench. Banks, flyer from the back. Can't mark it. Platten put his body in front. Ball booted up Hawthorn's direction. Buckenara and Christian. And the taller Collingwood player carting it out of bounds. It's going to be a dead heat here, I think. Who's going to win first, the PA or us? Never had to do battle with the public address system describing the same game before. Most unusual. Platten onto Collins. Kerrison. Mullane. He's been a good player today for Collingwood. Mullane up towards centre wing. Out of bounds, boundary throw-in. That's the taller of the two Deers. Greg Deer, his brother Paul, number 13.
Boundary throw-in, just favouring the Collingwood end. Deer and Cloak together. Over the top was Starcevic. Brilliantly down to Dacos. Dacos short, chipped in Platten. Platten then goes wide. And Banks really with the sit on the ball. Oh, it is absolutely crunched from behind. The ball falls free. Brown kicks wide. Cloak over the top. One hand almost. Abbott it is, tidying up at the back, and the ball's out of bounds. Half-back flank for Hawthorn. Some 35 to 40 metres around from the Collingwood goal. The boundary throw-in. Cloak and Deer again. No one with the tap. The ball's pushed back in towards the middle. Dacos, 1 goal. Thank you very much, says Peter Dacos. Yes.
Well, another bad blow for Hawthorn. Chris Langford has been taken from the ground and has gone straight to the rooms. Terry Gay, the club doctor, was having a look at him. So that's 3 of Hawthorn's goal-to-goal line back in the room. So not really good stuff insofar as the Hawks are concerned. 2 of them clash out there. That's Gowers, who's just come back onto the ground. Former Xavier College star. Gowers out towards left half forward. Christian, a high flyer. Collins down in front. Loveridge tried to soccer it off the ground. Turner looking for a free kick. Well played from Paul Deer to get it to Buckenara. Hall fumbles. Back to Loveridge, though, was well done. Brereton and Gafer. Brereton almost. Mullane and Ayres. And that was almost deliberate from Mullane. That might be a free kick. Or is it going to be a boundary throw-in? No, it's a throw-in.
He's a worrying type, Gafe. He really does frustrate in those man-to-man duels.
I think perhaps the ground suits his style of play too. Dippia Domenico, we haven't seen much of him today. Spent a bit of time on the bench. Dacos lining up for Best on Ground award. Just about dragged off it there by Paul Deere. And the umpire will ball it up. Now Langford is back onto the ground. I think he got a nasty knock in the throat or thereabouts with club official Tony Keenan on the boundary line. Mullane. Short pass. McGuan. Not a long kick from McGuan out to Taylor. Now being minded by McGuinness. It's better. Schwab. Well shepherded. Abbott. Well caught. Good use of the body by Starcevic to keep Gowers at bay. And it'll be a boundary throw in right half forward flank for Collingwood.
31 point advantage to Collingwood. It's in their attacking zone. Deere, Cloak gets front position. Deere cleverly down to Platten. Platten over to Schwab. Back to Platten is good. Platten with the bounce. Got time for another. Over to Ayres, puts him under enormous pressure. But Collins has followed up brilliantly from down ground. He also gets it over to Loveridge. Loveridge, if it will sit, panics and kicks on the left foot. Really shouldn't have. There was other players. Buckenara on the line. Can't stand up. A free kick to Buckenara. So a certain goal now for Hawthorn. So Buckenara going back for Hawthorn's 10th goal.
Langford back onto the ground too. Gowers off.
And you couldn't see Gary Buckenara missing this one. Great kick. Goal to Hawthorn.
25 points the difference now after that goal to Gary Buckenara. So Hawthorn sneaking a little closer. That's the closest they've been since the start of the game, really. Collingwood led by 35 at the first change and increased that at half-time. Dacos again, almost grabbed by Morrissey. This player is brilliant. Long kick, could almost be the quick reply. Oh, McGuinness, has he taken the mark? Should have been paid. Schwab kicks it through for a behind. I think he did pay the mark anyway. Great mark to Scott McGuinness. Ball standing up a little bit into this slight breeze off the hands of Abbott. At the back is Ayres, fumbles. He doesn't often do that. Kerrison tries to go long with the kick. Too long for Saunders, in fact. Saunders and Schwab. Taylor comes in to keep Schwab at bay. Then has the chance to get it himself. McGuinness comes out with it. That was well done. His kick is short towards centre wing. Morrissey leading Brown in the race for the ball as the sun comes out again. There's Jason Dunstall. Don't think he'll be staring at the disco tonight with a nose like that. Fellows and Deere. Platten. Brown. Loveridge. Loveridge with the long sleeves. Any player here today with long sleeves. Had it been played on Wednesday, I think they all would have been playing in Parkers. The Foster's emblem on the outer side, it's a bounce. Greg Deere. Kerrison. Scooped out by Hall, intended for Deere. If he can pick it up, the big fellow can't. Kerrison again. Kick is smothered. Ayres. Mullane onto Turner. Oh, Dacos. Oh, Collins collected him, did he, or nearly? Have to be a free kick. So the siren goes for three-quarter time, and the game's still very much alive. We check the scores. It shows Collingwood 15-8-98, leading Hawthorn 10-13-73 at the Varsity Stadium in Toronto. We begin the final quarter with Collingwood leading by 25 points after they led by 35 at quarter time and 40 at half time. Deere and Fellows, line ball decision that one. Deere trying to get clear, Dacos making sure he didn't. Dacos finishing on his rear end, but it's going to be another bounce from the umpire. By Brian Sheehan. Bounces it pretty high. Knocked away by Hawthorn. Onto Ayres. Deere doing a little bit better now, as indeed a Hawthorn. After they got off to a very tardy start here, looked almost disinterested. Collingwood got the jump on them, kicked 7-4 to 1-5 in the opening term, and that really set up as what should be a victory here this afternoon. But of course you can't write Hawthorn off. Collins runs into his teammate Hall and tries to help him out, and it's going to be out of bounds on centre wing in front of John Platten and Gavin Brown, and once again it will be a boundary throw in. Paul Deere wins that one out. McGuan in front of John Platten. Neither side making too much yardage, or meterage, if you prefer it that way. Again, a boundary throw in. Fellows and Paul Deere. And Paul Deere doing pretty well. Platten. Kick only travels about 40 metres. Kerrison in front of Buckenara. Buckenara went for the punch on. Oh, Brereton flattened Banks with an elbow, not seen by the umpire. Dippy Domenico. Haven't seen too much of him this afternoon. He's come out of it with a free kick. Or is it going to be Brereton's?
Yeah, holding the ball on Gavin Brown. So
well, he didn't get the free kick for that, I can tell you.
Dermot Brereton, 35 metres out from goal. 45-degree angle kicks. Will it make the distance? Not quite. Touched on the line.
Pretty close.
Touched on the line. Yes, the goal umpire now calls a point. So it wasn't a very long kick. One behind as Kerrison prepares to kick the ball in. So Kerrison out wide to the wing. Christian the Flyer plays on quickly to McGuan. McGuan onto the left foot, inside to Starcevic, and Collingwood have kicked short most of the day, and it's been very, very successful. Starcevic in the Taylor direction. Taylor and McGuinness. McGuinness from behind punches it out of bounds between back pocket and half-back flank for the Collingwood side. Deere and Cloak, as they've done most of the day down this end of the ground, play it on out towards Platten. Saunders tries to burst through. The ball's kicked forward, dribbles over the line, and McGuinness watches it over.
McGuinness has done a fair job on Taylor too.
Yes, the ball, Hawthorn have really probably played a little bit better in that third quarter. The ball hasn't been down there as much. The tap, lots of tap-ons over the back. Saunders with it. Stolen by Tony Hall. Bursts through the centre in the Kennedy direction. Morwood does very well from behind, then plays the ball in front of him. Plays on with the left hand towards Dacos. He taps inside for McGuan. McGuan back to Morwood was terrific stuff. Then undecided. Kennedy there, his opposing teammate, a player, kicks the ball as the ball is now forced out of bounds. Half-forward flank for Collingwood.
I think they were all expecting it to go out of bounds sooner than it did. So Collingwood with the ball in their attacking area. In front is Cloak. Doesn't get a decisive tap down. Morrissey gains control well for Hawthorn. Onto a player with a lot of class in Tony Hall. Dippy Domenico a half forward in front of Christian Marks. Fellows tackle a little bit late. That'll be close to a goal and in fact is through for 4 points. Can the Magpies get the quick reply to this one? Dippy Domenico's first goal, 20.5 minutes left in the quarter and therefore in the game, so plenty of time for either side to really sew it up. Dacos gets offloaded by Ayres. Mullane at half forward. Langford couldn't take the mark. Starcevic plays on and does it well. Centering kick, tries to find David Cloak. Cloak and Platten, there's the long and short of it. Platten will see the ball over the boundary line in Collingwood's right forward pocket. So a boundary throw in, Collingwood in attack. One of the unusual facets of this game, we've got the reserve players standing on the boundary line, so too with the coach and team manager. All directing traffic, as it were. Cloak with Paul Deere, Greg Deere rather.
And a free kick off the pack. Langford's actually thrown Starcevic to the ground in trying to find the same piece of dirt. So been picked up by the umpire and a free kick go to Starcevic, and really something that Hawthorn didn't really want at this stage of the game.
No, that's right. Starcevic started well, played a brilliant first quarter, in fact first half. That one's off target and one behind. So a let off for Hawthorn. Starcevic missed from, I won't say point blank range, and that's what I was talking about a few moments back. The reserve players, including Andy Demetriou, Peter Curran, a couple of others down there. A strong mark to Tony Hall. The ex-South Australian playing his first year in the VFL. Been a great acquisition for Hawthorn. Plenty of distance with the kick, as Malcolm said in the first quarter. A good long kick. Collins fumbles, gets it to Platt, and then he had his head taken off and is penalised for holding the ball.
Yes, Platten virtually playing on the wing on McGuan. Collins has done a lot of damage in the centre, and they did make that switch during that third quarter. Shane Ward once again has played very well for Collingwood. Relieving kick now between half. 7 kicks goes to Christian by himself, and Collingwood once again using this chipping tactic. Now goes long. Big pack of players, flyers, and over the back standing by himself is Abbott. Abbott wheels around onto his right foot, kicks inside. Oh, good mark from Fellows. And Brereton makes sure he stops by grabbing him around the scruff of the collar. So Fellows, left foot kick, kicks out wide. Cloak uses his body very well on Abbott, who eventually punches it out of bounds. So half forward flank for Collingwood. 19 points the difference in favour of Collingwood. Cloak and Deer. Cloak uses his body well again, has an airy, and then falls on top of the ball, and the umpire has no option but to come in and bounce.
I should translate an airy, meaning a fresh air shot, something akin to your efforts with a 3-wood on the fairway. Gary Ayres. Saunders, grabbed, didn't have the ball, comes out of it. His shot at goal is off target. McGuinness making sure it doesn't score. Doesn't go through for full points. Behind to the Magpies. Roger Selwood officiating down there. It's a nickname of Basil Fawlty, and if you take a close look at him, you'll understand why. For fans of Fawlty Towers, living spit thereof. Scott McGuinness. Cloak, a big fist away, cover is as good as a kick. That one covers about 35 metres. Starcevich let go of it pretty quickly after being tackled. It's out of bounds. Right half forward flank again for Collingwood. Fans in plenty of voice here at the Varsity Stadium. Deer with Cloak, won by the Collingwood player, but it's taken by Schwab. Brown in front of Morrissey. Loose ball at midfield. Kennedy had it, picks Brown up. Mullane using strength, nearly clashes with Dippy Domenico. Hand passes on to Christian. That was, I don't think he wanted to take that one. I don't blame him. Wasn't particularly well directed. Kennedy, players really throwing themselves in with Gay abandon. I wonder if that means the same in Canada as it does back home.
Here it is, and John Kennedy really did meet Gavin Brown very solidly then indeed.
And Kennedy had the ball too.
Yes, so bounce just on the point of the square. Deer does the ruck work against Fellows. Fellows goes early. Deer with the fist away. Buckenara over to Platten. Platten handballs the ball out in front of him. He's got a couple of metres space. Now plays onto the left foot. The ball into the goal square. Flyers wanted to ground Morwood, as he's done so often today. Tidies up, kicks to open space. Schwab's going to be the first there. The ball sits nicely inside to Collins. Collins over Abbott. Abbott under pressure. The ball falls to Dacos. Dacos follows up cleverly, keeps his body over it. Terrific stuff. Over to Christian. Christian bursts away. Had the option of Fellows. Now looks downfield and plays on to Cloak. Cloak and length for 2 1-on-1 here. Cloak gets the better use of the ball. Goes to McGuinness. Over to Deer, and now Deer breaks away. The handball being used freely now. Ball onto Abbott, onto Deer. Short kick onto Brother. Through to Platten. Platten from a standing start, shoots. Off to the right and 1 point only. So Hawthorn moved to within 15, 19 points again.
Well, plenty of time for them to win it. Under 15 minutes remaining. But goals can be scored pretty quickly on this ground, as we've seen. Hawthorn got 3 to start the second quarter in quick succession. Collingwood replied with the next 6. Now this is Kerrison bringing the ball back into play. Going for the punch on was Christian. Down it comes to Kennedy. Ball still in play close to the boundary line. And umpire Peter Carey will bounce it. It's been a pretty torrid affair at times, this Foster's Cup Grand Final. And quite a few players around the ball at the moment. A particularly straight bounce. Brown sees it over the boundary line. Tony Shaw sitting on the bench with Manson, Ryan and Saunders for Collingwood. Fellows does well. Collins stole it from him, but the umpire said he's going to bounce it. I thought that was a bit strange. Collins did well to get the ball out. So it will be balled up on centre wing. Bounced on centre wing. And if you're just getting up in Australia, scoreboard shows Collingwood in front, 15-10 to 11-15. Being early morning over there on Monday. Knocked away by Paul Deere. Again out of bounds. A rather unproductive couple of minutes of play. Certainly suiting Collingwood at the moment because they're in front. Paul Deere again. Farms out the hand pass well. The recipient, John Kennedy. Makanara nearly grabbed it. Hall looks for the hand pass. Dippy Domenico from a standing start has put it through for a goal.
Back in the centre of the ground. 13 points the difference. Deere, as he's done all day, taps it cleverly back to Collins, who really has livened up the centre of the ground. He goes out wide to Brereton. Brereton's mark, yes. And into the dirt he goes. But I don't think that'll bother Dermott too much at all. Now he really is going to have trouble coming out. 10 kicks to Dermott Brereton. And Robbie Dippy Domenico
moves what is it, part of the PA?
Yeah, broadcast piece of furniture.
I wish they'd shoot the PA.
See, they really are. He really is going to have trouble kicking this. It's like going to be kicking out of a sand bunker. It's a lovely kick, gets underneath it. It's a great kick. Great goal, Brereton. Fantastic from Hawthorn as Collins forced the ball forward, which ends up with Brereton. And Dermott Brereton off the ground in the first quarter after a knock has now kicked his 4th goal, and that puts the Hawthorn side, the Hawthorn Hawks, within 7 points. We're back in the centre again with Deere and Manson.
7 points the difference. That'll be the first goal I think kicked from a sandbucker in VFL history. Ayres out of the centre, looks for Brereton again. Kerrison there to do the tidying up, but it beats him over the boundary line for a throw-in. Just over 11 minutes left in the match. And as I said before, if you're waking up in Australia, you'll find Collingwood in front, but only just after they led at half-time by 40 points. It's been a great fight back by Hawthorn, but they were very tardy in the opening minutes. Dippy Domenico from the boundary line. At the back is Peter Dacos, probably best man on the ground. Certainly in my book, he'd go close to being just that. And Dacos will take a free kick at left half-back flank for a push in the back. Collingwood veteran goes long. 17 kicks to Peter Dacos. Is that a mark? Claimed by Deere. He plays on anyway. Dippy Domenico at the back with Manson. Dacos caught one for his corner. Picked up by John Kennedy. It's out of bounds on the full, much to his disgust.
Yes, and Peter Dacos is in a bit of trouble there. He really did cop one from Gary Ayres.
So sorry, Malcolm.
Just going to say, they really are putting some pressure on Hawthorn, aren't they? Kerrison now from the back pocket. Starting to go long all the time now, Collingwood. Flyer in front is Abbott, and takes a very good mark indeed. Abbott has a couple of options short. It's Hall. Over the top was Mullane. Also there's Buckenara. Free kick to Buckenara in the back. And Gary Buckenara, one of the safest kicks in VFL football, will take this free kick.
Same place as Brereton virtually.
Yes, he's got a bit more green to work with this kick.
You're talking golf or football?
A bit of both. It's both, actually. So 10 kicks to Gary Buckenara, and a very important one for Hawthorn. Lines up. Dermott Brereton claps it. He looks pretty happy, and so's the goal umpire.
Crowd of 18,500 now seeing a thriller after it looked like a very one-sided affair earlier in the afternoon. Knocked down by Manson. Hawthorn, can they get it forward again? It's most important to get it out of the centre here. Ayres does so for Hawthorn. Plenty of Collingwood tall timber there. Christian should get a free kick for in the back shortly. And Michael Christian at left half-back flank to just relieve the pressure for the Magpies. And need a steadying goal. Christian up towards centre field or centre wing. Here's Dacos, who's been brilliant all day. Looks for the short pass and gets it. Paul Hawke marking well within kicking distance.
Yes, this crowd certainly come alive, Peter, and so is the Hawthorn football side. And a much-needed goal here from Paul Hawke.
Directly in front. That's a goal. That's what they wanted. Magpies answer yet again.
So first goal there for the quarter. 8 kicks to Paul Hawke, who's been on off the ground. First goal to Collingwood for the quarter as against Hawthorn's 4. So the margin goes back to 7 points with 7:40 to play in the game. And it really still is up for grabs, but a very, very handy goal then from Collingwood. And back in the centre, Deer and Manson. Manson over the top, pushed on. Langford first there, screws the ball around, out in the Tippy Domenico direction. Christian punches from behind, disciplined. Matthew Ryan uses Dacos. Dacos off the inside of his boot, kicks the ball across the face of goals. Here's Cloak. He's got the handball on to Starcevic. Starcevic only has to sit. Goal to Collingwood. Great reaction.
Well, that might just about be the seal of Starcevic putting through his 4th goal for the Magpies after Hawthorn had got to within 1 point, the closest they've been since the start of the game. Trying to charge out of the pack was Greg Deer. Might be a free kick to Collingwood. In fact, that is the case. It will be taken by Gavin Brown. Now he's got to go back, says umpire Brian Sheehan. Now he'll put Collingwood back into attack again. Pretty hard to keep coming back all the time. Hawthorn may find. Abbott takes the mark in front of Cloak. Tries to play on to get the ball moving quickly. The target is Tony Hawke. Brilliant mark to Darren Mullane. Mullane left centre wing. Collingwood reasserting the supremacy that they've enjoyed right throughout the day. McGuinness a knock on. Hawke should get there first. No, he doesn't. Ayres. Mullane again. Short pass. Taylor thought about going off. He was only 25 metres out. Decided to go back for the kick. Hawthorn's race may indeed now be run. If Taylor can put this one through, we've got 5.5 minutes remaining, and it would be a pretty hard task for Hawthorn to get up from there. Goal umpire indicating 1 behind, so Hawthorn still lives in hope. Taylor has kicked 3 today. Almost a Mountie.
McGuinness kicks in. Pack of players. Hall, as he has done all year, excellent in the air.
A good second half, hasn't he?
Played very well all day, actually. Kicking to a nest of Magpie players. Brereton was the only contestant for Hawthorn, and the ball falls free now to Ryan onto his left foot, chips the pass, and off behind play. There is a fair bit going on as the players really starting to warm up here on the wing.
Kennedy, Brown, Brereton.
There's a free kick downfield coming back to Hawthorn's way. But this game is certainly being played for keeps, as it should be. Now McGuinness again kicks the ball back into play. Hall and Cloak. Hall goes early and taps it on cleverly to Platten. Platten gets clear onto his left foot, hooks the ball around. Manson, Brereton spoils him. Now caught with it, knocks the ball towards the boundary line. Kennedy keeps it in play. Morwood now takes it over. So 14 points the difference in the Hawthorn
3 goals, aren't they? So pretty hard to see them getting up from there.
Nevertheless, it's in their area.
Yep.
Deer, the big jump from behind. I really can't see why that's a free kick. He used the player in front of him with his eyes on the ball. Well, a pretty ordinary decision. So Manson, with that awkward kicking style, kicks to the wing. Cloak in front. Abbott smothered beautifully off the boot by Brown. Ends up with Langford. Langford goes long over the top of all players. Mullane, beautiful cover of the football. Out wide to Brown. Brown short to Dacos, and Dacos holds up play. So Dacos taking his time now, just settling things down. Now goes long. 20th kick in the Cloak direction. Platten reads it well off hands. Has a player in the middle of the ground, which is Schwab, and it finds that player who was almost off. So Schwab now plays on, onto the left foot. Very awkward looking kick. And towards the boundary line and out of bounds.
Boundary throw it on centre wing with just under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Paul Tuddenham, one of the Collingwood carriers of a water bottle here this afternoon, doing the rounds. Paul Deere got one too high, but the ball ultimately down to Platten. Or Christian would have been a miraculous mark had he brought that one off. This is Pritchard. Haven't seen too much of him today. On to Kennedy. Good tackle, Mullane. High tackle, says the umpire. I don't know about that. I thought he was fairly grabbed. Collingwood players aren't too happy with it.
There was no time on. John Kennedy wastes no time, goes back, kicks at goal to Hawthorn, and now puts them within 8 points.
Yes, and no time on, so 2 minutes 5 seconds remaining. John Kennedy putting through his 3rd goal for the afternoon. Brereton has 4 for Hawthorn. He's their leading contributor. For Collingwood, Starcevic has 4, Taylor 3 and Cloak 3. Cloak got 2 of those in the first quarter.
An important centre bounce now. Hawthorn must get it out to have a chance of winning this game. Deere, great tap from Manson just when it was required. Ayres in over the ball. Schwab there in support. Schwab onto his left hand. It goes to Mullane. A fantastic tackle from Ayres. Plenty of desperation going as all players in over the football. And a bounce with 1 minute 24 seconds remaining.
Hawthorn need 2 goals, so pretty hard to see that happening. Maybe Collingwood are going to come out of the season with a grand final win. They haven't won too many grand finals of late. Last main one was in 1958. This is Paul Hawke to
Banks.
Banks, yes. Two Collingwood players collide. It's in Collingwood's scoring area. Now a chance for Ryan to really wrap it up as he gives it over to Cloak. In turn to Starcevic, who kicks from 15 metres out and goals. Collingwood will win. So 5 goals to Craig Starcevic, the leading goal kicker in the match. And perhaps rather appropriately that he kicks that goal pretty well right on the bell. Here it is in replay.
Yes, watching this in replay, Matthew Ryan had a bit of trouble, then slipped. Had presence of mind to use David Cloak, and Cloak with a slick handball over to Starcevic. And really, I think that's the goal that Collingwood wanted. They've reacted very well to the Hawthorn pressure in this second half, and really now you can almost say starting to pull away and consolidate that 14 points.
Collins drives Hawthorn forward, knocked away by Morwood. Still at Hawthorn's half-forward area. Platten spins into trouble, that being Dacos. Paul Deere over the top. Christian caught by Pritchard. Mullane onto Morwood. In turn to Banks. Banks at left centre wing. Centering kick to half-forward for Collingwood. And there's the siren for the end of the game. Scoreboard showing Collingwood have won the Foster's International Challenge for 1988, and the scoreboard reading 18-11, 119 for the reigning premiers in the VFL, 15-15, 105.
29 shots to Collingwood, 30 to Hawthorn. So a bit of inaccurate kicking perhaps early in the game has certainly cost Hawthorn, but you can't take anything away from Collingwood. I think they probably had best use of the breeze in the first quarter when they really did set up the game in what was a great game and a great Foster's Cup final. So Collingwood 18-11, 119 points. Defeat Hawthorn 15-15, 105 points by a margin of 14 points.
And welcome back to the Varsity Stadium in Toronto. We're down on the field now where Collingwood champion Peter Dacos has just been presented with his Man of the Match award. 20 kicks, 6 hand passes and 2 goals, capped off a very good day for the Collingwood champion. And Malcolm Blight, I think we could say the Magpies on the day worthy winners.
Oh, certainly, Peter. I think they got out of the start of the first quarter excellently with that breeze, and that's 7 goals to 1 in the first quarter. Really did set it up, but didn't Hawthorn come back hard?
Yes, they did come back hard, but of course they obviously missed the services of Jason Dunstall up forward. But let's not take anything away from Collingwood. Tony Shaw was sidelined most of the day as well.
Yes, injuries actually, as I said, at half-time there was a bit of blood flowing. It was all knocks in the head and all that sort of stuff. But when it was a pretty physical game, I'd suggest that the 18,000-odd Canadians that were here today really enjoyed the contest, and it was good to see the two sides really put in and really want to win the game of football.
Is there a future for these games, would you suggest?
Well, after seeing a game like today, and obviously the one in London, and we were privileged to see the one in Miami, you'd think it makes a long season, but you think there's something in it if you can get 18,000 people to turn up here.
Yeah, it's a very long season for the players, and I'd like to thank you for your efforts, not only today but also throughout the year. We've enjoyed having you with us, and I think I can say from all at 7 Sport, Malcolm, we wish you the very best of luck in your new venture down at Geelong.
Yes, Peter, thanks very much for that, and it's been terrific with 7 this year, and
let's just hope we can be on TV a fair bit next year so I can perhaps still be talking to you.
OK, Malcolm, as I said, again, thanks for your comments today and throughout the year, and good luck for season 1989. And that just about takes us out from the Varsity Stadium in Toronto, repeating Collingwood victorious by 14 points in the grand final of the Foster's International Challenge for season 1988. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage today and right throughout season 1988. On behalf of all at 7 Sport, a very good morning to you all.
The Foster's World Cup Challenge, proudly brought to you by State Bank Victoria and Sportsco.